nutrition, they have been asking, what do you have for us this time? Now that you've come next to me, next to our phones, next to my tablet, I really need to learn from a distance. So this is an opportunity that we come in. We have different products, we have different case studies, and we have different solutions. And I hope we are going to learn, and we shall be sharing information
and benefiting the listeners and the people viewing us.
Also, the good thing was that the podcast highlighted several things. Talk about nutrition, talk about farm diseases, talk about treatment on farms and any other applications on farms. So today, as we are going through so many things, we shall be able to talk about such. If it is a disease, how do we look out for the causative agent? How do we do treatment? How do we manage? How do we advise the farmers on how to effectively manage these particular disturbances on their farms?
Welcome to the Farm Science Podcast. And today, we want to introduce ourselves to you. You must know us. Whom are you talking to? And one thing I must tell you for sure is that this is a large community. We are not only the three of us represented here. We are working with all areas of research, including soil, including plants, including animals.
Or ruminants. Do you have problems with reproduction? Do you have problems of stench? You have stench. You have a lot of bad smell on your farm. We have microbiologists that are going to help you.
So we want to start by introducing ourselves to the viewers and the listeners, people who want to benefit from us. Which services should they expect from us?
My name is Tahal Sekulima, and I'm a biomedical lab technologist by training with a lot of passion in microbiology. For over the past 7 to 8 years, I've been doing microbiology on the human, animal, and environmental interface. And the things that we basically look at is environmental samples. Also look at food samples, could be foods for animals, food for people, the environment, our water sources, soil, and so many other things. I have enough experience in clinical and veterinary diagnostics regarding microbiology and so on.
And actually, they should know that when you talk about microbiology, it's not just disease.
The disease forum. Yes, because most of it, when you talk about diagnosis, the person, what comes to their mind is, I have a disease condition, and then the organism causing it must be labeled as a very bad organism. But as we have those bad ones, we also have good ones that we've been trying to harness. For example, I tried to isolate some bacteria species that when you grow it with some fungus, it actually inhibits the growth of fungi. So that we can use that one to apply it in controlling aflatoxins or any other fungal contaminations in foodstuffs and feeds. Also, we've looked on so many other organisms that can act as probiotics and so on. So we basically try to find them from the environment, isolate them, propagate them, and we try to study how effectively can we use these particular organisms.
Yes, thank you very much.
My name is Edward Sebufu. I'm a biochemist by training. My interest is so much in nutrition and feed technology. Currently, I'm running an academy, an Aweza Nutrition Academy. We can train you on how to do value addition on your products, dairy products, the eggs, how to do value addition on them. We shall be giving you the packages of what we do.
Yes.
With the series, it shall be hosted here at the Farm Podcast. So really await for us with lots of innovations in nutrition and lots of learning. We want to link the academics to
real life. Yes. Thank you very much. And I am your host, and my name is Martha Abo. I am a research scientist. I am a laboratory technologist by training with a special interest in animal reproductive technologies, animal nutrition, and animal welfare in general. Over the past 10 years, I have worked at the intercept between science and real life, or science and farmers, listening to farmers' problems and creating practical solutions for them. For example, farmers kept asking me, how do we tell whether our animals are pregnant after artificial insemination? Should they wait for 3 months, or should they rebreed? Should they rebreed blindly, causing losses in terms of time and even money? So we introduced a pregnancy diagnostic kit, and now the farmers can test or can confirm whether their animals are pregnant or not in just a space of 21 days or 3 weeks from the time of insemination.
Currently, we are aiming at a precision nutrition. So we really don't have a lot of resources to waste. So we have what is commonly known as feed rationing. We optimize formulas so that the animals are only eating what they are required to eat, and the production is actually remaining the same. So with the optimization of the feeding, actually we also look at utilizing the available resources, because we understand that the protein levels are going high as the populations go high. There's a lot of demand, but now we come with different innovations. We talk about using spent grain, using probiotics to improve the gut health. Lots of innovations that we shall be sharing together with the products that we have managed to come up with. We do lots of services.
There is actually, you talked about sources of protein being in the competition, human and animal consumption. We also need the protein, and then the animals need the protein. So we have to develop solutions. We have to come up with innovative ways to cover that gap. And I think with this podcast, we are covering that and bringing it to you. We have solutions, but we want to bring them to you.
Well, as you can hear them, most of their emphasis is on nutrition, improving productivity on a farm through better feeds, through proper formulas. But when you come to my side, I'm basically looking at farm and environmental health. For example, you have your farm, let's consider poultry farm, it could be facing so many challenges like the diseases that affect poultry, downfall, diarrhea, and so on. So in some cases, farmers do not go ahead to find out what is the issue. Is it the water? Is it the feeds, or they are the beddings of my birds? So for our case, we can come to your farm, we take a sampling of the facilities, the water sources you use, the utensils you use, and everything. So we can profile your health, the environmental health on your farm. Then you can be able to tell the challenges here. If you do this and this to mitigate this challenge, probably your farm health will be in a better condition. And with that, we know that if the health is okay, your birds are going to have a very good digestibility and more productivity.
Talking about digestibility, we've talked about the alternative feed sources. Yes, we understand. Recently, someone told me people are using banana stems, but we have to remember or to recognize that these components have lots of lignin. But then to simplify or to cater for the proper digestion, we recommend the fermentation of these lignin compounds, so that they are simplified, so that they can be easily utilized, and we have a good feed conversion ratio and a digestive conversion.
Yes, and the faster the conversion, the faster your animals grow, and the faster the profit.
And there are actually several microorganisms that can actually aid in the lignification.
Yes, so how do you identify?
Treat it with the organism can actually break down lignin to smaller compounds that can be easily digested. And then by doing so, your feed is getting more and more valuable.
So how to know these organisms, how to isolate them, how to get the best organism that will work on your farm. We've talked about precision. We don't have to waste resources. My colleague can easily identify these, and these are products you easily find on shelf.
And yes, maybe we also want to inform you that we actually have some of these products. We shall be sharing them. We shall be sharing with you many of these products for the benefit of your farm. But I would also like to highlight that the microorganisms we prepare are not only for farm use. We can come and check the hygiene of your hotel.
That's what we are telling. hotels, for example, any place that actually deals in hosting people, conferences, and so on. Because we need to know, is the environment safe? The clean room environments. It could be air sampling, good sample water, good sample surfaces to ensure these places are clean. So we can do, like I told you, we've been working at the human environment and animal interface. So anything that can affect our environment, anything that affects our humans, or anything that affects animals, we can actually assess and see, are we in a safe condition? If we are not safe, how can we go about it? How do we mitigate that? So we can provide you with the data and also the advice to at least improve the health of your particular environment.
Personally, I have worked so close with the farmers and got some, as I highlighted earlier, that I have got practical solutions for the farmers' problems. For example, one of the biggest problems farmers had was access to artificial insemination.
Okay.
They want to take up the service, and as we all know that actually the adoption of artificial insemination in Uganda is still very low. And one of the challenges is because of poor access to both semen and the AI technicians. So what we have done, we have created a network of AI technicians. This network will help us help the farmer from whichever area they are in. We help them, connect them, link them to the right help at the right time. Another thing that farmers were complaining about was reduced fertility of their animals. This, you have heard of farmers telling you that the cow is on silent heat, reduced conception rate. There is reduced also productivity. So together with Anaweza Nutritional Academy, we have formulated a feed additive that when you add that to your feed, to the feed of your animals, it improves the reproductive health of the animal and thereby improving the chances of that animal getting pregnant.
So to talk about the product is Fortify
Milk Prime.
Fortify Milk Prime. Now, the product was made at a high precision. We considered the physiological needs of the animals, and we actually have used the ordinary raw materials. So you really don't have to worry about the synthetic or the inorganic compounds. So we have optimized and made sure that the product is made out of materials that are common, that are organic, and they are from Uganda.
Yes, and that is the essence of this podcast, to bring to you, to link you to our services, but also to open your eyes to problems from the field. So there has to be always a communication between the user and the problem solver.
Exactly, because if there is a gap in between those, then there is something that is being missed out. For example, you need to know what are the challenges outside there, and then if you have the capability to try and find out how can you solve that particular problem.
Yes.
And once you get the solution, you need to get back.
Yes.
Communicate it back to the people who are crying about the same problem.
Mm-hmm.
Try it out, and then you evaluate if your solution is actually viable or not viable.
Talking about problems, actually, you really don't need to be a strong scientist. You don't need a strong scientist. We have programs specifically for Anaweza. We can train farm attendants, farm assistants, or you, the person who wants to start farming, but you really don't know anything about farming, and you're wondering, you've seen challenges on people's farms, and you're like, will I really manage this? So we are bringing you solutions that are practical. We have had experiences with different farmers, as we are going to be seeing in the next episodes. We have really practical solutions. So when we talk about research, we talk about something we have been doing behind the field. And when you talk about a real experience, we've interacted with farmers. and we have tried to solve most of these challenges.
Another problem we noticed out there is that some farmers actually have issues with deciding which breeding method to use at their farm, which semen to use, which how to incorporate estrus synchronization to their farms, or grouping of their animals for easy management of their animals. So for this, we actually offer consultation services to guide the farmer step by step. But also, one common problem is semen handling. Sometimes during hand transportation and storage of semen, you find that some people may mishandle the semen. So, the technician or the AI technician or the farmer himself wants to know, is this semen still viable? Can it still work? Is it still alive? So, if this kind of situation happens, call us. We can test this semen in the lab and advise, should you continue using it or not?
So, Martha, hold on.
Yeah.
You've given us different challenges and how you can intervene to help farmers or bridge the gap between the service providers and the farmers who have problems. So, I'm wondering, on this podcast, was it that someone actually reached out to you and asked you to create such a platform, or it was basically from your own kind of visualization, be like, I want to do this, I want to communicate this? So basically, tell us what forced you or what made you into starting such a podcast.
Actually, what made us, not only me, but I'm going to tell you a story. As scientists, we are always looking for problems.
Yes.
We want problems always,
Yes.
Real problems to solve. So one time I was watching TV, and I was actually watching news, and I saw very disturbing news that Kenya had banned maize imports of Uganda. And the reason was our maize had high levels of aflatoxin concentrations. That was around 2021, March 2021. That didn't sit well with me. I started asking myself so many questions. First of all, what are aflatoxins? What causes them? Why are they bad? And why is Uganda particularly having that problem?
First of all, do people understand what are aflatoxins?
Exactly. That's what pushed me to the internet. I started to read about aflatoxins, and I found that many people had actually done a lot of work on this subject. People had done research and published even levels of aflatoxins in each and every different feed ingredient. Which feed ingredients have more
Aflatoxin.
susceptibility to aflatoxins. And UNBS had even gone ahead and sensitized farmers on how to handle their produce, storage, and even packaging of their produce. But the question is, or remained, why then do we still have the problem? So I went out to the field, interacted with both farmers and feed production industries to find out what exactly is the problem. And some farmers told me they follow all the procedures they are taught. But to their surprise, when the feed reaches the borders or reaches the factories, it is rejected. When their produce reaches the border.
Meaning that the levels are still high, no matter whatever they try to do.
Exactly. And what are they trying to do to dry their maize properly? They are trying to package it properly. They are trying to store it in the right way.
I would think the most of the common challenges I find with farmers I've interacted with is that most farmers in Uganda are using organoleptic. Organoleptic, like they are feeling, they want to feel. Does this, do these grains have lots of moisture? And I think this is causing a very huge mistake, because you can't see now if the permit of moisture quantity is 10, you can't barely see it with your eyes. You can't feed it with your. So now the equipment and these things are not actually expensive. They're on market. But why we are here is maybe to try to inform, because people are not aware that.
And also actually suggest other options that you could use in the fight.
Yeah.
Because if a person goes ahead to get an equipment, you realize you have a high moisture content, and then your produce is susceptible to fungal contamination, and then we know aflatoxins come from fungi. Someone could go ahead and tell us, can you try to fight this problem based on eliminating the fungus, or you can actually bind out the aflatoxins they produce.
Okay, so there are so many options of fighting those aflatoxins, and that's also what I found in the field. But there was another perspective that I got from these feed producing industries.
Okay.
They were like, this chemical aflatoxin binders affect the nutritional quality of the feed. So I came back to the lab, we discussed, and together with my supervisor, we said there has to be an option. There has to be a safer option. And my supervisor brought out a suggestion that changed everything. She said, what if we get local microorganisms and indigenous microorganisms, and use them to break those aflatoxins? Couldn't it give us a safer option? And I really liked the idea, because with microorganisms, apart from binding the aflatoxins, they could be having other benefits. Yes. For example, they can improve on the gut health and the uptake of the nutrients. So I really liked the idea, and we got to work. We worked and did research, and we came up, actually in this very lab, we came up with 2 powerful microorganisms. They are here. 2 powerful microorganisms. We studied them extensively. Their safety, their
stability
in our
storage and application, then the ability to bind the aflatoxins.
Yes.
For example, could do some challenges. If you know a known amount of the aflatoxin in a feed sample, you introduce the organisms, then after some time you quantify and see, do you have a reduction, and all those pass.
Actually, now this comes in as a savior, because previously, if you're caught with feed or animal produces with aflatoxin, government says you have to ban it.
Exactly.
If this comes as a solution, then it means that a farmer doesn't have to lose their produce due to aflatoxin. So there is a safer way of using this product without discarding. So the government is not losing revenue, as well as the farmer is actually saving or benefiting from the agricultural produce.
And then the fact that we are producing them locally would mean readily available. Then also they would be cheaper. Now, that whole work earned me my master's degree. But I stayed stuck. What next? I have the microorganisms. I know what they can do. I know their benefits. But what next? How do I get this work from the lab, take it to the farm? How do I teach the farmers the benefits of this work? How do I? And by the way, that's not all the work that is staying in the lab. There is a lot.
Lot stays.
There is a lot of enzymes. People are working on a lot of solutions, but they are all staying in the lab. Now, this podcast is actually answering that gap. We want something that would link this setup to the real life setup. how do we get out our work to be seen, or how do we get our work to answer the problems of the farmers and the whole public out there? Have I answered your question?
Now I get the insight.
Yes, so that is it. We needed a link. We needed some.
And the way I look at it, not that you can only link to farmers, you can also link to regulators. Because when it comes to research and scientific research, most of the good solutions actually stay in the lab because people fail to maybe prosper it to go out, but also regulations. You could, for example, come up with a potent microorganism. They can actually come on board and then they discuss.
Now that we have actually two powerful microorganisms, of course we can't name out the microorganisms for purposes of patent and originality. You know, she
and
lots of
and you know what happens, Edward, when we publish out this work, some Muzungu out there will jump quickly on it, do the same things.
They will come and package and sell it,
then bring to our country to sell it. So, and those are the problems that we have. Most of our work, we only publish. So
now, Martha, I think this is the high time. I think government also comes up to support such initiatives. Because we have the product, the prototype is there, it has been tested, it has earned a master's degree. So commercializing it and scaling it up, I think sometimes as the youth, it has some constraints.
Yes, and another question that people asked was, when should they expect this podcast to be running? How often should they be on the watch? And I'm here to tell you, keep on the watch. Every week we'll be posting once a week. Keep your notifications on so that you receive every episode that we put out.
Actually, you don't have to be a chemist, you don't have to be a scientist, you don't have to be an agriculturist. You can be an economist. Many people are retiring, and they're retiring into farming. So we're coming to bridge the gap. We're coming to bring our experience. We're coming to work with you.
Thank you. And also, this podcast is going to be hosting lots of experts, practitioners, and experienced people out there, people in the field. What are they doing? When do they do it? How easily do they make it? And also, you were asking, how often will you be receiving this podcast? You'll be receiving an episode per week. At least for the beginning, you'll be receiving an episode per week. Keep your notifications on all our social media platforms: YouTube, TikTok, Instagram,
and actually whatever Twitter. Social media platform you've had, the Twitter, now the commonly known X,
LinkedIn.
We call you upon to support. You can advise. You can call us to come and shoot on station. We can come and train. We can give what we have, but you can also come to support.
And also in the case of any challenge, for example, you have a problem, you can consult. Some of these products could be ready, but others on request, they can actually be.
Do you have your product? Are you wondering whether it's working? People have worked on prototypes, by the way, out there.
That is true.
People come with very many ideas of feeding. They have lots of substrates they want to test. I've used this on black soldier fly. I feel like it has lots of protein. So we can actually test. We can give you the protein code. You don't need to go to Kenya. You don't need to go to South Africa. These things are Uganda.
And not to bias everything to animals and so on. Bias everything on animals and so on.
Yeah.
Could be on plants. We've also done some work on plant health. For example, people in onions, people growing tomatoes, people growing sweet potatoes, they are basically affected by a lot of microorganisms, most especially fungi and viruses. And there are very many interventions that are going on to look for solutions that can combat those particular problems. Other people in the drug sector, we are tending more to herbal medicine. Okay, as the NEDA are trying to revitalize that, give guidelines to people using that. If you have maybe a drug from your herbal roots, you can come to us. We can screen for its effectiveness in cases of efficacy.
Yeah.
For example, if people have been using some of these drugs on treating animals and actually people. So, for example, if you have a product and you think it is active against a given condition, we can help you find out how safe is it. Is it sterile enough to the standards that are recommended for consumption? Is it actually efficacious enough? And so on. Or is it toxic? All those things.
Thank you very much. And in the next episode, we'll be hosting an expert in microorganisms. We shall be learning how we shall pick our microorganisms from the farm, how we shall prepare them, and how we shall bring them back to the farm.
Farm Science Podcast.